Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Nice to see you with me again. If you haven't already by now, please do me a favor and quickly hit that subscribe button. It helps me so much to grow. Thanks to all my members who have been such a strong source of support to the channel since I've been going. I am now closing in on 5,000 subscribers, would you believe? So if you're not one of them and you regularly watch my content, please do hit that button. Also, remember to give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Means so much. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today in a new video? Well, I've been wanting to talk a little while about the Microsoft Cybersecurity Reference Architectures, or the MCRA. What are they? What do they do? You can download this massive spreadsheet, which has just recently been updated by Microsoft to include all sorts of good stuff in December 2023, including AI principles for generative AI, which obviously are ever more crucial than ever. So what are the principles contained within the Microsoft Cybersecurity Reference Architectures? How does it relate to the overall security adoption framework for Microsoft? We're going to dive in and take a look right now. So what exactly are the Microsoft Cybersecurity Reference Architectures? Well, to find out, we'll start by having a look at my ever favorite website, learn.microsoft.com. I'll include this link with the video, and let's take a look at what it's all about and what you get. So, the Microsoft Cybersecurity Reference Architectures, or the MCRA for short, are the component of Microsoft's Security Adoption Framework, or the SAF. So let's hold up a minute. What exactly is the SAF? So if the Security Reference Architectures are the component part of that, we need to know what that is. So I just so happen to have that site open. Let's take a look at that first. What have we got? The security adoption resources. And navigating the continuously changing threat landscape, technology platforms, and business requirements is challenging for many organizations. Yeah, true. I can go along with that. And the SAF provides guidance for organizations through end-to-end security modernization across hybrid of everything, multi-cloud and multi-platform technical estate. And we can see all sorts of guidance here. We can expand the images. This represents the security adoption framework, which is all about reducing risk by rapidly modernizing security capabilities and practices. And we can see how across these principles, the personas that need to be involved in the decision making for this, and it's from CEO, business and leadership, down through technical leadership, CISO and CIO, Chief Information Officer, and then we've got architects, technical managers, implementation, and then alongside this we have all of the steps here from securing digital transformation, business and security integration, security strategy programs and epics, architecture and policy, technical planning, implementation and orientation. And here we can see all across the process, what's involved, and here we can see how the Microsoft Cybersecurity Reference Architectures are the core part of this process, and how it all ties in with zero trust architecture. Zero trust, that principle of assume breach, verify, explicitly use the principle of least privilege, and we've got things like secure identities and access, modern security operations, infrastructure and development security, data security and governance, IoT and OT. That's Internet of Things and operational technology security. This is going to become a big thing. I think this is going to be very much the next big thing going forward, in my own opinion. But so there we go. Each element of the guidance can be used individually or as part of a holistic, there's that word again, end-to-end security modernization from a strategic and programmatic level through architectural and technical planning. And this guidance applies zero trust principles, there we go, very important, to all aspects of end-to-end security modernization. What's the objective of this SAF? Well, it's an end-to-end security approach, basically. It's meant to be agile, it's meant to be practical and pragmatic, and lots of guidance there on how to consume this guidance and what people need to know. So there's Chief Information Security Officer, there's workshops that Microsoft offer for this, there's the reference architectures, there's business guidance, Microsoft-led workshops, etc., etc. So we're going to move back to the security, the MCRA. I'll try and say that from now on because it's very hard to say the whole thing. And so there we go. So and this applies to Microsoft and third-party platforms like M365, Azure, third-party apps such as ServiceNow, Salesforce, third-party platforms, and like Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud Platform, and first and third-party AI capabilities. So, but what exactly is it? How do you get your hands on it? I mean, this website's all well and good, but where do you get it? Well, you can download the updated version of the MCRA right from here, from within. And it comes in the form of a very, very thorough PowerPoint deck. What does it include? Well, let's see what we get. It includes key information about anti-patterns, common mistakes and best practices, guiding rule sets for end-to-end architecture, threat trends, and attack patterns, Microsoft mapping capabilities to organizational roles, zero trust standards, etc., and more, and more. Detailed technical diagrams. This is the real value add to the MCRA. You get wonderful diagrams, which I'll show you some in a minute, for the cybersecurity capabilities, zero trust, SecOps and SOC, operational technology, attack chain, lots of great stuff. But how do you use it? What's the guidance on how to use this? Well, Microsoft see this resource used for several purposes, including a starting template for a security architecture. I cannot agree with that enough. If you don't know where to start, then start with this, because it's going to set you up for success. The most common use case seen is that organizations will use this document to help define a target state for cybersecurity capabilities. And organizations find this architecture useful because it covers capabilities across the modern enterprises that now span on-premises, mobile, multiple clouds, IoT, OT, etc., etc. Other uses, comparison reference for security capabilities. So some organizations might use this to compare Microsoft's recommendations with what they already have and implemented. And many orgs find that they already own quite a bit of this technology and weren't aware of it. It's also a great way to learn about Microsoft capabilities. Many of you come to my channel to learn things. I encourage you completely to go and look at the MCRA if you are interested in a career in Microsoft and cybersecurity in particular. If you want to get into consultancy, become an architect in this field, you need to go through this and apply this these principles to your learning journey. If you're doing the exams, like the SC exams, if you're getting into that journey, so you need to know this. Learn about Microsoft's integration investments. So the architecture definitely helps architects and technical teams identify how to take advantage of integration points within Microsoft capabilities and with existing security capabilities. And, well, just learn about cybersecurity. So some folks, particularly people new to cybersecurity, use this resource as a learning tool, which is what I just said, really. So there we go. We got some next steps. You can download the updated version. So this hasn't been updated in a while. I think from memory, in fact, we can see here the last time it was updated was December 2021. So there's a new version just came out very recently, December 2023. You can watch a pre-recorded version of the guidance on YouTube. There's a link to that. I'll include that along with this video. Let's get that opened in a new tab. So we've got that ready. And we've got everything we need. So we can now take a little look through the MCRA. I've downloaded it already. I've got it open in PowerPoint. Let's take a look. So here it is, the Microsoft Cybersecurity Reference Architectures, MCRA, end-to-end security architecture following zero trust principles. I was going to put this in full slide mode, full slideshow, but I want you to get a good feel for how this is, how it works, and there are so many notes that come with this as well. If you are wanting to use this in your role and learn things, there's so much collateral already baked into this. You not only get the slides, you get lots of different versions of the slides so you can tailor them to your needs. Microsoft are sometimes criticized for their collateral in providing too much. I kind of get the point, but I don't see it that way because there's no such thing as too much content. It's how you apply that and use what's relevant to you, and you can tweak this and get the best out of it for your needs. So, but you get so many great notes in this, and where does it start? Well, it just gives you a few opening slides which give you an idea of what the purpose of it is. So, and in the notes here, you can see some key takeaways of this particular slide. What is the key takeaway? The MCRA is part of the SAF now to provide clear and actionable guidance that help guide your security modernization journey. So really, really cool stuff. You can't go wrong with this. You can see the benefit of this collateral here. So we've got our what, why, and how here. So guide the organizations through. Why? Rapidly increasing security posture and align security to business priorities. How? Provide best practices, references, other guidance based on real-world lessons for strategy and program, architectures and technical plans. You are here, apparently. And security capability and adoption planning. Okay. Let's go to the next one. And you can see we're not going to drain this deck, as you've probably spotted at the bottom left. There are 95 slides, so we'll have a quick scan through and see what is key highlights, if you like. And you can go and find this and find what you want and go through it yourself. But I just want to give a very quick overview to how useful this is and how it can benefit you. So look at all this, absolutely brilliant. So let's just sort of scroll through. You can see that Microsoft themselves have hidden some of the slides that they consider relevant or not so relevant, and you can do this yourself if you're going to use this for a customer experience or internal training or whatever you will use this for. Then you can hide and unhide and get the content that you find most relevant to your requirements. So cool. Whiteboard, you can look at this whiteboard slide here to get some context on your organization to help guide the discussions. So you can look at things like business and technical drivers, ask the right questions. Gives you all the right questions to ask here for organizations looking to improve their security posture and their digital transformation journey. What is top of mind for business stakeholders? Crucial question. What risks are important to the business? Business and technology initiatives driving change. What are those drivers for change? What metrics are important to the program? Architecture, policy, and collaboration. Geography and cloud usage. Where does your organization operate? Which workloads are in the cloud? Which major cloud providers? Is it SaaS, PaaS, IaaS? Compliance, large and notable regulatory requirements. What types of attacks and adversaries are top of mind for you? So really cool stuff. Then we've got things like this, a bit about the security adoption framework, and this is how you can align security to business scenarios using initiatives that progressively get closer to that full zero trust position that we all strive for. What are these business scenarios? I want people to do their jobs securely from anywhere. We all want that. I want to minimize business damage from security incidents. Yes, absolutely. I want to identify and protect critical business assets. I want to proactively meet regulatory requirements. So important. So many organizations don't tick that box because it's a hard one to do, but it's so important. And I want to have confidence in my security posture and programs. And these are the principles that we can go through to achieve that. And we saw this slide on the webpage earlier, so we'll not focus too much on that one. That's sort of hidden there. So, and now that's the end of the sort of introduction section, and then we get into the main part of the presentation on slide 9 here, which is end-to-end security. So if we sort of collapse and expand these sections out, we can see what the sections are within the document. So we can see we've got end-to-end security, we've got rules, we've got menu and next steps, we've got references, we've got a section on zero trust, we've got a section on people and roles, Microsoft capabilities, Microsoft build capabilities, multi-cloud capabilities. Wow, we've got so much stuff in this deck. User access and SSE. Lots going on with SSE in the Entra world just at the moment. Privileged access, SecOps and SOC, IoT and OT. So you can see just how much we can get out of this. Wow, there's just really so much. But if we go back to this this main end-to-end security one, let's see, we'll skip through some of these slides and see what some of the best ones are that jump out at us. And there's no good and bad. But look at this, common security anti-patterns. These are some of the common mistakes. This is a great slide to call out. that impede security effectiveness and increase organizational risk, skipping basic maintenance, skipping backups, disaster recovery exercises and software updates, securing cloud like on-premises, so attempting to force on-prem controls and practices directly onto cloud resources. Such a common thing that happens. Wasting resources on legacy. So legacy system maintenance and costs, straining the ability to effectively secure business assets, artisan security, focused on custom manual solutions instead of automation and off-the-shelf tooling. Disconnected security approach, so independent security teams and strategies, lack of commitment to lifecycle. Absolutely. So, and it tells you all about the best practices that you can adopt here. So things like asset-centric security aligned to business priorities, consistent principle-driven approach, pragmatic prioritization based on attacker motivations. That's so crucial. Think about what the attacker motivations might be. And the slides later on how you can see how the attackers think, how they can get to what they want in the quickest and most effective way with the least disruption, the path of least resistance, if you like. So cool stuff here. Improving resiliency, the slides on this and what happens sort of left of the bang and the right of the bang. Identify, protect, detect, respond, recover. Some great principles there. End-to-end security, enabling business mission and increasing security assurances with intentional approach. So this is the slide that I wanted to look at actually. This is what defenders need to focus on. Strong security controls and effective placement, rapid response to attacks, continuous testing and monitoring controls. So what we get here in the notes is it tells you all about the fact that you might have your defenses going through this route, but the attacker will take the path of least resistance this way. So attackers are intelligent and creative humans, so they're going to focus on finding the easiest path to their objective. Tells you all about this in the notes here. Most attackers work for profit, independently or part of criminal gangs, or for an intelligence espionage agency of a government. And regardless of their ultimate objective, attackers are focused on achieving an objective and are flexible in what techniques they use. So this requires defenders to focus on that holistic approach, there's that word again, to security defense. And this includes strong security controls, rapid response to attacks, continuous testing and monitoring. So this is absolutely what you need to be thinking of. So and this is an expansion of that slide, and really wonderful. And in fact, if we activate the slideshow here at this point and play from the current slide, I think this sort of pans out. So this is the perspective. So this is the attacker, their thought process right now. They're trying to take that first step to get in, and like, oh, looks like they have NGFW, IDS, IPS, and DLP. So okay, that's fine. I understand that. What can I do next? Okay. Let me think. I bet their admins will check email from admin workstations. They might click on links for higher paying jobs. So what we're going to do here, we're going to send a phishing admin to the email. Let's see if, and from that they've found passwords in a spreadsheet. Now let's see if the admins can save service account passwords in a spreadsheet, and boom, there we go. He's into the treasure. He's got the keys. We've got access to sensitive data protection, to sensitive data, and well, what can we do about that? We need to be mindful of protecting our data and having that monitoring in place. Protect the privileged accounts. Replace that password XLS with a PIM/PAM process and workload identities, which you can use with conditional access, obviously. Rigorous security hygiene with rapid patching and secure configuration and practices, and modify those security operations. You can see how this is absolutely wonderful. So we'll just come out of that again, back into the deck, and we can see here as we go through this section, we've got lots of really, really great principles here that we can work with. I like this slide here. This is the goal here is zero assumed trust to reduce risk. And we can see that we've got some false assumptions and some zero trust mitigation here, and how these all fall into place. So let me just actually start that slideshow again, because this slide, again, is really cool. It sort of builds out. So some false assumptions. of implicit or explicit trust. And the false assumption number one is security is the opposite of productivity. Not true. And with zero trust mitigation, we can systematically build and measure trust. And with business enablement, we can align security to the organization's mission, priorities, risk, and processes. And then, well, it doesn't actually build out one by one. It says false assumptions. All attacks can be prevented. Not true. You've got to assume compromise on the right. So continuously reduce that blast radius and attack surface through prevention and detection, response and recovery. False assumption number three, the network security perimeter will keep attackers out. No. You need to shift to asset-centric security. Revisit how to do access control, security operations, and more. Passwords are strong enough? Absolutely not. You need to explicitly validate account security, require MFA, analyze user sessions, behavior analytics, threat intelligence, and more. IT admins are safe. No. Plan and execute privileged access strategy. Establish security of accounts, workstations, and all other privileged entities. IT infrastructure is safe. Again, very, very false assumption. Validate infrastructure integrity. Explicitly validate trust of operating systems, applications, services, accounts, and more. Developers always write secure code. With zero trust mitigation, we need to think in terms of integrating security into the development process. Security education, issue detection and mitigation and response. The software and components we use are secure. This is a big one. Think about supply chain security. Validate the integrity of software and hardware components from open source vendors and others. So great slide. And we finish off this section with zero trust security architecture. This is how it all works. Look, end to end, consider the whole security problem. Acknowledge that it's complex and challenging. Then get ruthless. Ruthlessly prioritize. Identify your gaps and get your quick wins. And then get started. Start somewhere and then continuously improve. I like that start somewhere approach because I talk to customers a lot who are on different parts of their journey. We're not going to start with everyone beginning their cloud journey. Most organizations will have already started somewhere in the cloud. They might have started with devices. They might have started with data, with OneDrive, with Teams. They're going to be at a different point. And there's, in an ideal world, you'd be at the beginning with them. But quite often customers are coming to you with a problem. They've dipped their toe in the water. They've deployed something in pandemic times. Now they have to go back and appropriately secure it. So you've got to think about where they are on their journey and how you can help them. And this helps you to do that. So what have we got in these other sections? I mean, I'm trying to not go too deep into all of these, but there's so much good content in here that I just don't want to skip it. So there's some great stuff here on the zero trust commandments. Really, really cool stuff. 10 laws of cybersecurity risk. So keep an eye on these as well. Love this one. Cybersecurity is a team sport. Your network isn't as trustworthy as you think. Look, attackers don't care. So true. Ruthless prioritization is a survival skill. Immutable laws of security. This is a good slide as well. If a bad actor can persuade you to run their program on your computer, it's not solely your computer anymore. So true. If a bad actor can alter the operating system on your computer, it's not your computer anymore. Some great statements here. Weak passwords trump strong security. So true. Absolutely fantastic. Let's look at the next section. What have we got here? Menu and next steps. So this is a great slide. This shows the whole thing. And it explains here in the notes. Well, first, the key takeaway. These are diagrams and other references for end-to-end security architecture. It tells you what's in all the columns, the middle column, the left column, the right-hand column. Let's just put this in the slideshow view here and have a look at this wonderful slide. Lots of great stuff in here that explains the end-to-end thing, how it all comes together. We've got our threat environment with ransomware, extortion, data theft, and more. We've got development, DevSecOps, enabling security and business goals, infrastructure, multi-cloud, cross-platform, native controls. We've got zero trust with our principles of assume breach, verify explicitly, use least privilege. Got roles and risk management. The people part of this. I would argue this is the most important part, actually. Think about the people as the very first step. Zero Trust Adaptive Access, access management capabilities, SSE, security operations, operational technology, and Microsoft's security capabilities here. And you can link to these other slides, which are all included, these little thumbnail of these slides. You can see these all in this wonderful PowerPoint deck. You've got links here to the website, to the videos, and of course all the great notes in there as well. So this is a wonderful slide. A bit more on the security adoption framework there. Where do you want to start? So it shows you here you can do end-to-end strategy and planning. We can plan and execute initiatives. And links to all of the Microsoft workshops that are available. And there's a little plan step here that you can fill in with your customers. Also, lots of superb collateral in here. Links, references here to security resources. Lots of amazing links to all of the relevant principles that we've been discussing here, and key industry references and resources. So things like the Open Group, NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology in the US, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, the Center for Internet Security. They do some wonderful benchmarks, which you can work through. You can download these benchmarks and apply those to your journey. I can't recommend that enough, actually. That's one that I like to use quite a lot. Zero Trust, lots of information on Zero Trust. Why are we having this conversation? It's basically to keep assets away from attackers. So wonderful, wonderful stuff. And how do we modernize with Zero Trust principles? What are those principles? We've talked about that already, those 3 key principles. How to apply those Zero Trust principles. Lots of great notes on that, on how we do that across the security disciplines. The 3 principles here: assume compromise, verify explicitly, use least privilege access. How these can be applied across the security disciplines on this column on the left here. So take a look at that. Key industry collaborations that Microsoft have worked on, some really, really good stuff there, and key Zero Trust models and architectures. So absolutely wonderful stuff. You can see the level of detail that has gone into this. Microsoft security capability mapping. So this is an absolutely wonderful slide, actually. It shows you exactly what all the technologies are that relate to these principles. So when you're thinking about access control, you're thinking about threat intelligence, you're thinking about asset protection, governance, etc., etc. It then pops up with the Microsoft offerings that can help you look to this. So for access control, that speaks to identity, which leads into Entra ID and ID protection, Entra ID governance, Defender for identity, threat intelligence. We can get that on Defender for endpoint, Intune device management, threat intelligence on all of our devices. The governance is Microsoft Purview, obviously, and Microsoft Purview and Prever for privacy, Defender for cloud for our apps and systems. Absolutely fantastic stuff. A bit more about the Zero Trust architecture on that one. So absolutely fantastic. So yep, lots of amazing stuff on Zero Trust and how that all ties together. And these 2 slides here, it shows you that Zero Trust architecture on that first slide. Let's just pull this down a bit to get you a better view of that one. And then on the next one, it maps those to those technologies and how they speak to these principles. So that's the Zero Trust stuff. We've got people and roles, how to manage organizational risk in relation to people and roles. So lots of guidance there on how to speak to the organizational functions required to manage information security risk and insights on how it's changing. Great slide again here, Microsoft's security capability mapping and what roles typically use what capabilities. So again, through access control. So this is more in a list form rather than the diagram form that we saw a few slides ago. So there's lots of different ways to consume this information. Microsoft capabilities, what are the Microsoft capabilities here? And this is literally everything in one slide again. So there's a lot to process here. I can almost hear you thinking, wow, this is a lot to take in. And it is, but it's broken down very, very logically here. So we've got hybrid infrastructure here, endpoints and devices, which relates to Intune and Config Manager. Information protection relates to Purview. Entra here for identity and access. People security there. Things like attack simulator, insider risk management, communication compliance, operational technology, and IoT. So Defender for IoT. So it all ties into Windows 11 and 10 security, and so good. Then there's the Microsoft capabilities build. Multi-cloud capabilities, ever more important in this world of hybrid cloud and multi-cloud. You've got to be thinking about, if you're talking to customers who are not just on Microsoft, they might be on AWS as well, with or Google Cloud platforms. So this is where Microsoft Defender for Cloud comes in, how that all ties together, cross-cloud and cross-platform. How that ties in with things like Purview, identity and access, and Entra and Sentinel. Sentinel obviously being a big part of this story. Wonderful stuff. And there you go. You get the how that all ties in together with multi-cloud and hybrid protection with Defender for Cloud, and it brings everything together in Azure for on-prem, for Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud. And I've skipped a slide or two there. Let me just go back a bit. And where were we? Cross cloud. Yeah, that's the one I was on. Yeah, correct. So wonderful stuff. So user access in SSE. So this is one that I really do enjoy talking about. Conditional access is so important, and I always say, if you want to explain conditional access to somebody who doesn't know what it is, the most basic form of conditional access is multi-factor authentication. It's if this, then do that. And this is Microsoft's current vision for adaptive access, which is to enable secure access to any resource via conditional access. And SSE is one of the newer features within Microsoft Entra. I'll probably do a video on that at some point. My good friend Andy Malone has just done a really good video with one of the main guys at Microsoft, whose name just escapes me right now. Do forgive me, and I do know his name, but I'll put a link to that video in to Andy's video, and it's wonderful. It gives you a real flavor of how that's coming into play with SSE and Microsoft Entra. Fantastic stuff. So access management capabilities. User identity risk, device risk, and this is all about replacing the VPN really with technologies built into Microsoft Entra that can work in conjunction with conditional access and get that secure access to resources across your hybrid cloud and on-premises, and using SSE within Microsoft Entra. So wonderful capabilities in there, and this shows you how, again, an example of the slide transitioning from the principles and what you need to be thinking of, and the technology that Microsoft has that can speak to that. So Entra Internet Access, Entra Private Access, all about the SSE, the Security Service Edge, which is sort of replacing that VPN story, which legacy technology is being retired. So something we all need to know about and embrace. Privileged access, massively important. Attackers do have options, so think about how you're protecting your privileged user access and privileged devices and workstations and business critical assets. So take the time to look at those. We've got security operations capabilities, SIEM, and SOAR, so security information and event management, and all the things you need to be thinking about there, your raw data, the deep insights that you need to get with actionable alerts from extended detection and response. Generative AI is obviously a big part of the story at the moment, and that simplifies tasks and performs advanced tasks through chat interface. So how do we get intelligence on all of that? So really cool stuff. So reference architecture here for security operations in particular, how it all works, and Microsoft Sentinel is at the center of that story there. Sentinel is what pulls everything together, into that ability to view that information and process it, automated or otherwise. IoT and OTs, there's some good content in here about that as well, on how you apply those zero trust principles to those evolving OT and industrial IoT environments. And then there's an end-to-end IT, OT, and IoT device security slide here as well. So we're getting through this deck. I really am trying to go faster than I am, but there's so much good stuff in here that I don't want to skip any of it. Infrastructure security capabilities. Infrastructure is probably the area that I'm sort of least qualified to speak on these days. I've worked in infrastructure a very long time, most of my career, but I've sort of tried to leave infrastructure behind, really, and focus more on the cloud. But it's still a fact of life for many organizations, as is things like patching, patch management, planning, modernizing of the patch management process, patching policy reference here. There's lots of guidance on that. DevSecOps, again, not something I can speak to too much, not my area of expertise, but there's key takeaways on that to enable agile security for workloads to keep up with continuous changes in that environment. The attack chain, very, very important. How do you defend across attack chains even? And there's a defender for everything now, and rightly so. So we've got Defender for Office 365 here to take care of our external threats in emails, like phishing emails, and what happens when opening attachments or clicking on a URL or browsing to a website. So this is Defender XDR and Microsoft Sentinel working together to defend across these attack chains. We've got Defender for Endpoint to protect our devices, obviously our endpoint devices, and we've got Defender for IoT and OT, Defender for Identity to protect our all-important identities, to try and prevent, identify and respond to compromised accounts, lateral movement, privileged account compromises, Entra ID protection to protect all that, Defender for Cloud Apps, formerly known as Cloud App Security, all part of that. And then underneath that circular line there, we've got insider risk management, and all that good stuff as well. So some great stuff there on the attack chain and how Microsoft provides that end-to-end integrated visibility of a variety of attack techniques and how their products can speak to and address those threats. Threat environment, it's bad out there, isn't it just? So lots of statistics there on attacker for hire per job money. So $250 per job and up, ransomware kits, how it all works from an attacker's perspective. The threat environment is continually evolving, no doubt about that. So information on that. Continuously evolving threats, and you can use things like the MITRE attack framework to evaluate detection coverage and plan to fill visibility gaps. Lots of cool information there. Attack chain model, so we've got Pete, my namesake, the MITRE attack framework, Lockheed Martin kill chain. You can see there's so much detail in this. This really is your Bible from Microsoft here on cybersecurity. You need to be going through this evolution of ransomware models from a timeline of 2013 through to about 2020. Common attack patterns, prepare and enter, client attacks, data center attacks, how they are done through emails, credential, browser, etc. Attacker gains access, gets credential theft, malware installation, lateral movement, encrypts data, exfiltrates data, extortion, demand money, sabotages backup and recovery, human-operated ransomware, the impact of that, how it differs. This is a good slide, actually. What's in Microsoft 365 E5? And really, if you want to protect yourself effectively now, regardless of the size of your organization, in my opinion, you really need everything that Microsoft can provide you. If you're within Microsoft's ecosystem, you need it all. You need E5, you need Defender for Endpoint, you need Defender for Identity, Defender for Office, Defender for Cloud Apps, Entra ID, Purview, Windows 10 and 11, Things like Hello for Business, Autopilot, Advanced Windows Security, and of course Intune for your unified endpoint management. Wonderful stuff. Reference mapping of security product details. So you can see here within the products how they are broken down into different components that you can get access to. So Defender for Endpoint, plans 1 and 2, and the Entra stuff over here. So formerly Azure AD, as hopefully we all know by now. So lots of cool stuff in there. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. Nearly towards the end of the slide deck. Product families, enable modernization initiatives, secure identities and access in Entra. So a lot of it's repetitive. I feel like we've been through a lot of this before and how the principles of zero trust map to, but it's giving you a different slide that you can use and depending on your needs. Access modernization, what is the journey here? So we've got a typical flat network there with privileged access workstations with, so what have we got here? Next slide, Zero Trust Client Security Transformation. So we can see how this evolves using more modern principles, and we can go through these. Zero Trust App Access for Clients, and the story sort of builds as you go through, and what the end state ideally is going to be with full adaptive access, bridging both worlds and fulfilling zero trust and SSE visions. Wonderful stuff indeed. Isolation is a lifetime commitment. Avoid firewall and forget approach that creates a false sense of security. So true. There are so many catchy phrases in this. Avoid firewall and forget. I love that one. AI and security, ever relevant, more relevant than ever right now with the explosion of AI right now, generative AI in particular, the evolution of computer interfaces. We're getting a nice little slide there on how that has all progressed. What are the key implications of AI for security? Multiple dimensions of security risk to manage. Machine learning already processes security data, integrated into XDR, SIEM, posture management, and other tools. So we get an idea of what we need to be thinking about there in relation to AI. Much like M365 itself, AI has a shared responsibility model. You might think that if you're in the cloud, then Microsoft is going to take care of everything. Not so. You have to be very aware of the shared responsibility model across Microsoft 365 and Azure in general. But for AI, we can see here for usage, application, and platform across IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. We can see here this nice little key here. What's taken care of by Microsoft? What is model dependent? What is shared responsibility? And what is exclusively the customer responsibility? You can see this light blue for the customer. It's probably the majority of it. So there's a lot you need to think about yourself. Microsoft is not going to take care of all of that for you. What is the Microsoft approach for this? Focused on responsible and rapid integration of technology. So establish clarity, your data is your data. Implement responsible AI principles. Prioritize greatest needs and opportunities for AI security. So there you go. Absolutely fantastic stuff. We are almost there. We're towards the end of the deck now. Grounded in responsible AI principles. So Security Copilot, it's coming. I've had a little bit of a look at it. It's got a ways to go yet on the version that I've seen of it. It's not very functional yet, the sort of area one that I've had a little look at, but it's going to be really good. I mean, the video that I did just before Christmas where I had a little test drive of M365 Copilot, I'm reluctantly impressed with the technology, having been somewhat skeptical of it to begin with. I still have questions. I'm always going to, but I like where it's going in the broadest sense. So we've got here a final review on artificial intelligence. What do we need to think about? Dynamic conversational chat is a new interface. So true. It's a new thing that we need to think about how we protect. It makes technology easier to use and to learn, enables people to do more advanced tasks. It's critical to adapt quickly to this technology, to educate on and mitigate attacker use of AI, embrace the security use of it, and protect the business use of it. Securing AI is a shared responsibility, and these are the three principles that Microsoft have defined for their approach to AI. Establish clarity, implement responsible principles, and focus initial security priorities on greatest needs. We've got some resources and references at the end there, and our final slide. 2 generations of AI. So this is important actually. Classic traditional AI is AI that detects and classifies, can work on vast amount of data for use in real-time applications and automation of capabilities. Traditional AI is good at looking at a large field of data and finding patterns or continuations, like making recommendations. Traditional AI is bad at understanding highly complex, smaller things like language. Whereas now we've got generative AI with things like OpenAI, Meta AI, Hugging Face. And this is AI that understands and creates content such as GPT. It works on relatively small chunks of data, text, images, sounds, videos, has a linguistic understanding. Large language models, or LLMs, I am not good at saying these acronyms, are a kind of GAI, and the term is often used as a synonym, but LLMs are ones that work on text. So GAI is good at understanding language, summarizing, translating concepts. It's bad at processing large amounts of data. So there we go. Nice. So there you go. Nice little slide deck, all in all. Wow, I hope that wasn't too deep a dive. You can obviously consume that as much or as little as you want. There's the links to everything you need in the details of this video below, so take a look. I can't encourage the use of this enough. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff from Microsoft. They've put a lot of time and effort into this. And if you're a cybersecurity admin or manager or consultant or architect, and you're in that Microsoft story, you're working with that, you need to know this, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So do check it out. You won't be sorry that you did so. I hope you found it useful. Let me know what you think about it and how you've applied it already in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this for sure, as always. Anyway, thank you. We'll wind up this video, and as always, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. It means so much to me. Thanks to my members. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye-bye.